What is up everybody, I am LeakyTapsMan and this is another wishlist video, and this week we are doing Crackdown 3. So Crackdown 1 was one of my favourite games at the start of the Xbox 360. I only really got it because of the Halo 3 beta that came with it, but it blew me away and I was really impressed. But Crackdown 2 was kind of a real disappointment considering how few changes were made. Now I know they switched developers to Ruffian Games and obviously they only had about 8 months to develop the game, so I'm not blaming them. They obviously had time constraints that were out of their control, but the main thing I would say for Crackdown 3 is just give the developers time to really put their own spin on things and not just create a cookie cutter of the last game, which is what they did with Crackdown 2, and basically it turned a lot of people off the franchise, myself included to an extent. So with this in mind, I'd say a totally new city has to be incorporated. So in Crackdown 1 and 2, it was Pacific City. I think as good as Pacific City is, and the whole architecture works really well with the game in mind, a change of scenery will do it a world of good and really give some varying distinctions between each island as well, assuming that the game does take place on multiple different locations. In terms of vehicles, I think boats, motorbikes, ATVs, all of those would be cool, really cool, and bring it back where agency vehicles transform as we enter them, because on Crackdown 2 that didn't happen, and that was like the coolest thing on the original Crackdown. So when you leveled up your driving skills, they kind of transformed as you got in them. I thought that was a neat little touch and I don't know why they got rid of it. And in terms of player stats, I think certain armour varieties, you should be able to buy different armours and basically allow a 1-star stat boost to that particular skill. So say you buy strength armour and it'll add an extra star onto your strength but no other skill, and say make it so that your guy is a bit more beefed up and muscly. Alternatively, say if you get an agility armour, you become a bit more streamlined and obviously you can jump higher, run faster, etc, etc. This should be when you've maxed out your stats, I believe, in that particular skill, so it's not open to abuse. But I think that's something that could be well worked into the game. Something that is an absolute necessity is more mission variety, because both Crackdown 1 and 2 were absolute offenders for this. As much as I enjoyed the games, the missions just felt so similar. Crackdown 2 did make an attempt at a bit more variation, but the missions that they gave were still kind of pretty poor when you consider a lot of open world games have far better missions by comparison. Assassin's Creed did the right thing, going from the first one to the second one, where they kind of really push the variety aspect, and I think Crackdown needs to do something similar. With extra missions in mind, I think that some kind of proper boss fights should be incorporated rather than just taking on gang leaders. I think some really big ass enemies, like we kind of took on wave after wave of freaks in Crackdown 2, and I think some really huge enemies would be awesome in Crackdown 3. And it would really push the whole 4-player co-op side of it, because 4-player co-op was too easy in Crackdown 2. Okay, also I think that a levelling system should be used in tandem with skill progression, so have this consistent across single player and multiplayer. Basically have us gain XP for getting kills, doing missions, collecting orbs, basically anything that furthers the game, and just allow these levels to, say, unlock new skills, unlock aesthetic items, basically just something extra so you feel that constant progression that I feel that the other two games were lacking to an extent. I mean, Saints Row 3 had a really great system of levelling up, and I think Crackdown could do something similar to that. With the levelling system in mind, I think in-game challenges could be given, so something similar to Halo and Gears of War, where you get a certain amount of XP for, say, killing 100 of this type of enemy or getting 100 melee kills, etc. Just a little something extra outside of the achievements that give the player that extra incentive to keep on playing. And some more relatively minor things, but I still think they would only add to the game. Fully fledged character creation instead of just the predetermined agents. I believe there was like a choice of 4 in Crackdown 2, which is pretty abysmal. Seeing as your character has like no real cutscenes, he doesn't talk, That I've got no gripes with, but if you're going to have that, you need to make it so that we can at least create our own agent character, and it just seems kind of lazy. Even if it's just more of a basic one, it doesn't have to be as in-depth as something like Saints Row or Skyrim or anything like that, just a bit more advanced than what we have. And also give us more choice with the colours on the armours, because 4 is terrible. Also, allow customizable weapons, so say rapid fire or scopes or stuff that makes us reload quicker. Basically just try and push the customization aspect a bit more, and I think hand-to-hand combat can be improved quite a lot. Give us some proper real grappling moves and some actual finishes, and make it a bit more advanced than just mashing B repeatedly. And this next one actually isn't that minor, and I should have done it earlier. You'll probably notice in this video that several times I am just locking onto a car and shooting it. Well, I'm not trying to, I'm trying to shoot an enemy. Sort out the targeting system, because the amount of times that you just aim at a car when you're trying to shoot an enemy is just ridiculous. So put some good man hours into trying to fix that, because it's really, really frustrating. Also, the narrator, give him more of a backseat role, because he was talking non-stop in Crackdown 2 and frankly he's got nothing interesting to say. So limit what he says and when he says it, because it gets really annoying having him on your case whenever you accidentally kill a civilian or a peacemaker. He's really a pain in the ass rather than adding to the game. And finally, let us place waypoints on the map. Something minor, but something that really, really helps. Alright, so that's pretty much everything I would like in Crackdown 3. I know I didn't really touch upon the story, but in all honesty, I am not a fan of the story at all, so I don't care what route they take with it. I just want them to give us any kind of reason to move city and basically just incorporate those gameplay elements that I would like to see. As always, I'm interested to hear what you guys would like in Crackdown 3. Check out my other wishlist videos if you haven't already, and thanks for watching as always. Please subscribe if you like any of this. Peace out, bros.